Hello, hello, hello. I am back really quick um, with this live because I wanted to talk about, and I won't be before you long, but I wanted to talk about the Cat Williams interview, and I am just now finishing majority of it, but I wanted to just share some top three things that I've realized by watching that interview, and I know that everyone has been, at least on my timeline, they've been talking about it, and I know people are tired of hearing about it, but I wanted to give a different perspective as a creator, like what I learned from that whole interview. Um, so let's dive in. Number one, I learned that the word no is more powerful than we think. I believe as creators, especially in whether you're in a comedian, an actor, um, whatever the case may be, sometimes you feel like you have to say yes to everything. And if you did watch my live earlier, I just want to thank the people that have reached out to just check to see if, of course, am I okay? What's going on? I haven't been able to answer all of them, but as a creator, sometimes you feel like you have to say yes to everything, even the free stuff, because you feel like nobody's gonna like you, or nobody's gonna call you again, or you're just not gonna get hired. And the biggest thing from Cat Williams was a repetitive pattern in the interview is that he said no a lot to things that other industry people said yes to. And although it made his route a little bit different or more complex, he still came out winning. I mean, for look at the interview, it's almost at 10 million views. So that's the first thing. No, the word no is powerful. Number two, boundaries. Okay, he set strong boundaries from the beginning of his career. And this is something that I wish I would have done a little bit more on my end. It doesn't mean that I can't do that now, but it just shows like when you set boundaries in place, people they can't mess with you. Um, and I think he did a good job of explaining that and doing that within his career, so that later on people already know, like, don't come to me with this foolishness. Um, and then, like, number three, don't follow the crowd. These are simple top things that I realized, but I didn't want to talk about who he talked about or necessarily what person he was bringing up. I really just was learning from like a creative standpoint that following the crowd can get you in trouble. Like, you could end up in things that you won't necessarily be able to come out of clean, with clean hands. And when you follow the crowd, you put yourself in just a position to be ran over, ran through. You think of all the other things as well, but don't follow the crowd. I like that he has been able to have this career of winning people over by being his authentic self. And, you might not necessarily like his comedy. You might not even know who Cat Williams is. If you don't, look him up. You'll probably see this interview at the top. But I just really liked how he was able to articulate himself in this interview to who we're used to. Like, I like Cat Williams personally. I'm not like a diehard fan, but I've watched some of his comedy, and it's pretty funny. I think he's funnier than Kevin Hart. That's my personal um, opinion, but I just like the fact that he has stuck to his, values, and we could take that away. If even if you're in a job, you can take that away from this interview. But as far as like entrepreneurship or business wise, there was some gems throughout this whole interview that if you didn't listen closely, you probably missed. And it, it just was therapeutic to hear someone like stand firm in what they believe in. And it just really taught me a lot. And shout out to Shannon Sharp because his set and everything, like the way he interviewed was like, if you want to be a podcast person or you want to be a journalist or anything, I think people need to take notes on how he stayed on topic and then he was able to change the topic without it getting too messy, because it could have went left even further, but he always honed it back in. So shout out to Shannon Sharp because this was a really good interview. So if you have not watched, I encourage you to. It's on YouTube and you can watch it there. But yeah, those were the top three things. I'll put them in the comments, of course, when I get off. But thank you for everybody that's been reaching out and just really checking on me. I really appreciate it. This is just transparency. Sometimes you have to give people that because, and that's one thing that we got from Cat Williams. We got a lot of transparency, although there was some moments where it was high emotion. Sometimes you have to get passionate about stuff and speak up for yourself. You have to have the courage to do so because there's just been so many wrong things that have been done to people in these industries, and sometimes we won't find out until someone speaks up, and those are the people we need in the world. We can't have everything hidden or everything looking like it's perfect, and I think we find that now that the more people speak out, the more people that really articulate what they've been through, the more people get healed. Um, and there's a healing that needs to take place amongst several topics. I mean, his topics he went over, from the sexual assault to people getting abused to people getting like dealing with narcissism. Like, it's so much that people deal with on a day-to-day basis. So Cat Williams just kind of like ripped the wool off of people's eyes and really gave them insight on what is taking place. So those are the top things, and you can follow my YouTube channel, y'all. This will be put on YouTube, but I wanted to just go over that. Hopefully, you know, he'll do more things after this interview, but I just thought it was a really good interview. I was really surprised, and I think a lot of people are salty at Shannon Sharp because he is not a trained journalist, but he has been on TV for a couple years. That trains you, and he's does under pressure really good. So you can't knock him for that. I saw Larry Reed on, and he was talking about, some things, and, it's going to make a lot of people step up their game. So I will talk to you all later, but go watch that interview now. All right? Have a good day or night. See you tomorrow.